Greetings, YouTube. I just did a video to a good friend of mine. He sent me a postcard. Oh, hell, Captain Al. He sent me a postcard from when he was in Ireland. And I just did a video thanking him for it. But I did a video directly from the YouTube app. And it stretches my image out when I do the hold the camera like this, which I guess is the way you're supposed to hold it, instead of like that. But anyway, I very much appreciated it, and so I decided to thank him. I even thank him in a letter too. I haven't written letters in a few days, so I feel getting a little rusty. I also have to catch up in my journal as well. And one of the events I'll be relating is I did my heart operation yesterday. Well, the catheterization, and there is the entry point. And it turned out that I don't need a stent after all, which is good, which means my heart is healthy. Doesn't stop me from bringing the glycerin pills with me, though. So I just take those along just in case. So who knows, I might end up doing a pipe now and then, along to go with these videos. Although I deliberately did not name my pipe channel after anything to do with tobacco, because didn't want to just talk about pipes. But yeah, so I guess I'm clear to go. I just have to wait for this hernia to completely clear up, and then I can head back to work. But we're still not done. Anyway, today I kind of did a bit of retail therapy, and I know I finally, just flip this around for you here, finally nailed this. Action Comics, 80 Years of Superman, and to go along with his 80th birthday. And here's something I'd like to show you. Of course, it's got a million like introductions and everything like that, but I want to show you how Superman looked like originally, way at the very beginning. And the best shot I could find, well, first of all, you can see his S right there. It's pretty much just a gold shield. Okay, so you didn't have the symbol that we know was not it was not well known yet. And now look here. The uniform is basically the same, except he's got these like sandal-looking things, and he doesn't have red boots yet. So this is basically Superman at his very beginning, even though they have him in red boots on that cover there, which I just lost. Right there. I made a Christmas card out of that a few years back, and I thought it came off rather well, if I do say so myself. But yeah, this book is just let's see, do they actually have the scene in here where he smashes the car? That'd be kind of nice. There it is. And you can see that he doesn't have the boots on there. He's just holding up a car and shaking people out. But he couldn't fly yet. He could only leap about a quarter of a mile. Anyway, the book is basically a celebration of all these firsts in the history of Action Comics. The first appearance of Supergirl, when Supergirl basically was outed. For a while there, Supergirl had to work in secret because she was Superman's secret weapon. But yeah, they just basically show like all the different milestones they touched upon all throughout the years, that kind of thing. So I kind of had to get it. Also, when shopping at Savers today, and I came across this, the unabridged Mark Twain, for $1. And I've always wanted to read Mark Twain, as I consider him. I've read, like Tom Sawyer, and he's considered to be one of America's greatest writers. So I picked up Volume 2 on Amazon used for, Volume 1 on Amazon for like $8, like $12 shipping. So for a total of $13, I've got like a one-stop library of Mark Twain writings. And the whole guy always struck me as cranky, irreverent, irascible, and sort of would like to read his works, as if I needed to buy any more books, so, or movies, or comics, that kind of thing. But no, I really just wanted to say hello. Let's see, who's been doing videos that have been Copernicus Rex. I'm glad he looks like he's back to doing regular videos. Very relaxing guy. He sits in his pipe corner. Comes from Comes from the southwest of England, and why can't I remember the actual town he comes from? Because I've got a brain fart, that's why. It's way down along the Cornish coast, and of course I forget the name of it, so I'm just going to move on. Also saying hi to Duncan, Ironbriar Duncan. He's been putting out some regular content, which is good to hear, good to see. I'm always very happy to hear a Scots accent. I'm not going to embarrass myself and insult him by trying to imitate it. But when I have a few, I'm pretty good at it. That's all that really comes to mind. Red Elric has a couple that I need to see. Catch up with that eventually. I pretty much just see the videos when I have a chance. Like if they're really long, I tend to break them up and do them while I'm writing letters, that kind of thing, or browsing on Facebook, which I spend way the hell too much time on. Yeah, so trust me, if they're too long, I always make time to listen, even if I have to cut it into segments. So I'm trying not to get this too long myself, because I don't feel that I have anything substantial to say, other than I'm glad that spring weather has started up. Miscellaneous pop culture. If you have a chance to see Lost in Space on Netflix, check it out. It's really good. I couldn't stand the original TV show, and I hated the movie. God, did I hate that movie back in the 90s. But this is pretty realistic stuff. Well, realistic-ish for taking place in the future. And it's got Molly Parker from Deadwood in it, the Widow Garrett. So can't go wrong there. Had free HBO for a while, started watching Westworld, and that was amazing. But of course, I discovered it like on the last day that it was free. So managed to squeeze 3 episodes in. If you're into artificial intelligence, basically gaining consciousness of their own and beginning to determine their own destinies, please check out Westworld. It's based on a early 1970s movie with Yul Brynner. And really enjoyed it. It's got Anthony Hopkins in it, and Chris Pine's in it that I can see, so it's a class act. Of course, working through the old Roseannes while watching the new series. And say what you want about Roseanne, I think that was a cutting-edge sitcom, so when you see the whole thing for sale for like $25, you have to pick it up. And come to find out, Joss Whedon was a script editor on there from Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame and director of the first 2 Avengers movies. He's one of the many geeks in Hollywood made good who've infiltrated the system and have basically created content for fellow geeks like me who's into comic books and science fiction, stuff like that. Sort of like Kevin Smith has done. He infiltrated the movie-making machine. That's all. Of course, I'm loving Supernatural on season 12 now. They really have a gift of channeling the kinetic motion from story, for lack of a better term, the kinetic story. What's the word? The story impetus from one season to the other. It's almost like one of those, those corporate things, the kinetic motion balls that click back and forth. It just transfers the kinetic energy along all the brass balls, all the way over to the last one, back and forth. Well, they have a real gift of transferring the kinetic motion from one story, from one episode arc into the next one. So it seems like they never run out of ideas. While we're doing music, I would have shown them to you now if I remembered to take them out. Also at Savers. This is especially for Beer Beard. Ended up getting 2 Tommy Makem CDs from Shinachie Records. I saw him live once when he was opening for Cherish the Ladies, and I might add they had to insert all that Riverdance stuff in there. This is back when Riverdance and Lord of the Dance was very big, and they had to insert a Riverdance section to keep the Rubes happy. But he opened for them, and I liked his patter. I liked his dry Irish sense of humor. So for $5 a piece, I picked up some 2 Tommy Makem CDs, which $5 is kind of expensive for Goodwill, and a covers album of XTC, their punk band But when they discovered drugs, they started churning out, like, you know, Beatles-esque, very well done psychedelia. So there's a covers album done by different bands, like I think Smash Mouth does one, and I think They Might Be Giants does another, and that includes their Dukes of the Stratosphere input too. So I gotta hear They Might Be Giants singing 25 o'clock. Anyway, I've rattled on long enough. It's going on 10 minutes 30 seconds, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you, and I hope you're all well, folks. Hope you're enjoying spring wherever you are. Come on. Stop. Stop, I said.